G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 23 of my Beginner's Fire Pets Cabalist playthrough. This episode we'll be continuing through to Malmouth and getting started on the city itself. One thing I wanted to point out, because I've just gone over this myself, is we are now done with possession and also with manipulation. Which means we've got 18 levels, so that's going to be something like 26 skill points remaining. Let me see if I did the math right there. 8 times 2, 16, plus 10. Yeah, it's something like 26. There'll be a few extras from skill points, and I've probably done maths wrong. So we got about 26 points remaining, and we're kind of done with the bulk of this. So what's left to get? Well, the first thing is Spectral Binding, because I've been complaining for a little while that my health is low, and this is how I'm going to boost that up. And honestly, I probably should have done this a little bit earlier, but health, in my opinion, is less important than just taking less damage. Don't get me wrong, it's still important, but I would say less. Okay, so that's one thing. We could go back to Necromancer, put more points in Spectral Binding. We can also chuck some more points in Call of the Grave. This will give us some more damage and more crit damage for our pets. More damage is always good, so we'll probably bring this up to 10 out of 10. So what's that? 6 hard points plus the 4 from plus the skills. We also want to put a point in Infernal Breath here. The reduced target's damage on the doggy is not particularly amazing, but it's better than nothing, which is what we have at the moment, I believe, for reduced target's damage. So getting a few points into this wouldn't be the end of the world, but I think I'll put 1 point and then go and get some other stuff and then maybe come back to that later. From memory, this build is extremely tight on points at the high end, and I'm probably only going to get 1 point there. The next thing is the actual Hellhound itself. We could put another, 15 points in here. We'd have a 21 out of 16 Hellhound. That's going to actually survive a bit better. So more points here can only be a good thing. We could split them 50-50 between the bird and the dog, just to keep them alive a bit longer. But I think I'll probably max Hellhound and leave the bird at 1 point. This hasn't really been dying, so getting more health on this, probably not the best idea. And then the other thing we could do is put some points in Curse of Frailty here, just for the increased radius. So at the moment, Curse of Frailty basically hits the thing you target and maybe a monster or two on either side. Getting a bigger radius on this, 1 point is like 25% increased range. So getting a bigger radius here is going to increase the amount of stuff we can hit with it by a lot. I'd probably say take it to about 5 points max. You get most of the benefit for the first few points. So this is really good. Well, actually more of a quality of life thing. We could also get more points in Blood of Dreeg. This would increase the amount of health regenerated. It would also give our pets more offensive ability. And the regen is, well, largely not really worth much. We're not focusing on regen, so that kind of doesn't matter. So that's where I'm up to. 1 point here, max the doggy, couple more points in here, maybe a few more in Blood of Dreeg, and then 5 more points in Call of the Grave. If we still have points left over after that, and I don't think we do, but if we do, we could maybe look towards getting Mark of Torment. Oh, and more health. So that's where I'm up to. Okay, with that said, and with my inventory freshly cleaned out, let's head on up to the second half of Ashes. Depending on who you talk to, this is Act 6. But we're heading towards the city of Malmouth. Let's just make sure Blood of Dreeg is active, so I don't unexpectedly get punked, I guess we'll say, by the poison damage. Although this section doesn't have a huge amount of poison damage. The plants are mostly behind me. So running up here, we're going to get a lot of Wraiths. Potentially, we could get the Bound Wraith drop. If you do get a good Bound Wraith drop, and you want to play a Ritualist, I think I said this in the last episode, but it bears repeating, I think. If you get a good Bound Wraith drop, keep it. The Ritualist really wants a Bound Wraith offhand, and it's not something you can buy. You have to go farm it, and there's no good targets for actually farming it. you kind of just have to kill a lot of these wraiths and hope that it drops. So I think the best one I've found so far is a single affix. I haven't even found like a ritualists, which is a rare prefix, ritualists of binding or anything like that. I haven't found even a bad double rare. I don't think I've even found a single rare prefix and a magic suffix or vice versa. I don't think I've found a triple pet affix thing yet. Even double magic I haven't found yet. So they are somewhat rare. Apparently these things just drop all the time now. This is the second Wendigo Gaze of Caged Souls that I've found. First one being this one here. Impervious is probably better than Stalwart. Actually, it's definitely better than Stalwart. Stalwart is going to be the flat end percent defensive ability. Actually, it might just be the percentage. But yeah, it's not so great. It's not horrible, but the other one is better. Considering how long my first Cabalist took to get the metal he uses, it's somewhat. That's the word I want to use here. I'm glad that it is easier for them to drop. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we're heading into the Desolate Waste here. This is the pathway through to the city of Malmouth. We've seen this in normal. And there's a few things I want to watch out for here. The first thing I want to check for, actually, is over here. This big skull. Looking for a massive glowing rock underneath it. That's the Exalted Stash. It's not there, unfortunately, so we shall have to look elsewhere. But we will definitely find it. Let's maybe get out of whatever goop that is on the floor. Couple heroes there. Okay, we've got the Avatar of Order. I don't see this one very often. The Avatar's amulets are usually pretty good. So Aether and Chaos, total speed, bunch of health, and if you're playing a Shield Breaker, you'd be very happy right now, even if you're not using Drain Essence. Or Mirror, which is actually not Shield Breaker stuff. So I guess this is a 4-class amulet. Not for this build, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately. So I'm heading up to the top left now. Again, I'm looking for the Exalted Stash. I like loot, so I'm going to go and try and get some. I am trying to stay out of melee range, moving every couple of seconds, just in case someone puts a ball of fire under my feet. Because, like I mentioned before, we're a little bit low on health. Not to the point where I'm super concerned about it, but definitely want some more fairly soonish. And so if I can get my hands on more skill points, which I'll get from leveling, then I'm going to get a couple more points in Spectral Binding pretty quickly. In fact, I'll probably get that next level. I think survival at this point is mostly what I need to focus on. Here's my Exalted Stash. So this one, you want to check first down here at the head of this massive skeleton, but then head up this way, and then after this, if you don't find it, I'm out of ideas. I usually only check those 2 spots. So there may be a third. I'm actually not sure. I stopped looking after these ones. Alright, time to head on to the next area. And one of the... I won't say it's the most rippy fights in the game, but it can be a little rippy. You definitely should have max every resist by now. But just in case you haven't, make sure Chaos, Fire, and Vitality are all capped, because you will be getting hit hard by them. And obviously, you're going to want more hit points as well. So this is Eket Zul coming up. Not the most difficult fight in the game, but definitely something to be respectful of, I guess. Yeah, I think we don't need to kill all of that. We'll take the long cut that also gets us a blue item that I'm not going to use. Okay, do also keep in mind that because of our amulet, Call of the Grave is a personal heal, but not for the pets. Let's get out of the line of fire. So I am absolutely spending a little more time currently, I guess we'll say, running away from stuff. Because I'm noticing my health bar gets quite low semi-frequently. So it's definitely time to play hide around the corner and let the pets deal with stuff. Downside to this, of course, is that all the cursing and stuff we're doing in order to trigger all of our damage procs for the pets is going to be annoying things, and they'll be chasing us. But it is what it is. And the pets should kill stuff relatively quickly. There is no more real big jumps in power at this point. It's just going to be little granular increases. And I think the best thing we can do is start stacking up defenses. Alright, so Ekketul, he does his little lean forward, flap his wings at you attack. That's going to sunder everybody. He'll put a volcano underneath you. You really don't want to be standing where that volcano is. And that's pretty much the extent of all the big things. Don't stand in fire, is essentially it. Don't stand in front of him if you can avoid it, so as you can not get sundered. Just watch for him to lean forward. That's the animation there. So that attack sunders. And just make sure you're not standing underneath this volcano. So there's a couple there. I'm getting hit still, so let's just run back a bit. Did indeed trigger the turtle shell and the prismatic rage, which I was not expecting. Definitely too close there. Alright, we'll eat that blueprint. Altos Hood, so now if I was playing a Primal Strike Shaman, I'd be set until level 100, because I could craft 5 of those, and then transmute them into the entire set. The Cabalist does have a set that you can do that with. It is not the Lost Souls set, though. Lost Souls is only for level 94. There is no previous version, unfortunately. So I think it's the Corruptors set. I could be wrong on that, but there's a blue Chaos set that you can kind of do that with. The Corruptors set I've definitely had several pieces of in this playthrough. Oh, he killed a skeleton. How about that? One skeleton. Alright, same deal here with Ulgrim as on normal. I'm going to... What happened to you? Listen to me, you're in trouble. You're in the void. I'm not going to attack him. So, I'm your friend, we'll go to Malmouth. At this point, like I mentioned several times now, I'm a little scary. Or I'm a little squishy, and I'm scared that I fight him, and then I end up dead. I'd rather not end up dead at this point, so we're just not going to fight him. If you fight him in normal, you'll get the achievement for it. If you fight him in ultimate, yeah, don't fight him in ultimate. I mean, you can. You'll probably be fine, probably. But how much do you want to bet your, what are we up to now, 22-hour-old character? How much do you want to lose that on probably you'll be fine? For me, not so much. So we're just going to not fight him, and we'll be on our way. Same for this top half of the Void's Edge here. I don't really want to fight any of this stuff, so we're just going to walk past. Oh, I've successfully got myself killed here, I think. That's me trying to walk past things into a wall. Definitely not a good idea. We've lost our Hellhound, but otherwise I think we're good. Alright, maybe we need to stop trying to run past trash. Or I need to watch where I'm going, because it turns out you can't walk through walls. There's the exit that I was looking for. Alright, made it. Successfully not dead. Just. In spite of myself, I survived. Alright, so once again, a blueprint that we already have. Let's get some more health here. So actually a decent amount of health. We'll get even more health here. And we've hit Revered with the Black Legion. Which means poison and... I think it's poison, bleeding, and then Aether and Chaos. We can now put augments onto all of our armor pieces that give us 9% each to all of those resistances. So if you're not capped at this point when you get Revered with the Black Legion, go get those augments. You can buy them in Homestead, and your Aether and Chaos res should never be uncapped ever again. And same with, I'm pretty sure it's bleeding, but definitely poison. I mean, Blood of Drig exists, so poison should have been no issue for quite a while. You can, however, go and put some poison resist stuff on at this point, and then not have to worry about, did I push Blood of Dreeg? Am I about to explode to the next piece of poison damage I take? Because at the moment, my poison resist is capped while Blood of Dreeg is active, and not otherwise. That is something that I'm seriously considering, since I don't need them for anything else. I think I'll leave it for now, though. This also does allow you to drop a bunch of resistance modifiers. So for example, what have I got here? Impervious of Celerity. Impervious is Pierce and Poison, which I'm decently over on. So I don't need that prefix, and casting speed doesn't really matter for this character. So the prefix and suffix on my Death Watcher pendant are basically useless. So I could go looking for some pet damage stuff. Or maybe I want to get some extra health on that or something. We could definitely get better items at this point, and I'm kind of talking myself into farming a vendor at this point. because we sided, rather, with the Death Vigil, the only source of those amulets for this character is going to be vendor farming. We can't just go and kill stuff and get the drops, unfortunately. But we can look at replacing some gear that has affixes that are kind of whatever. We can replace them with maybe pet damage, maybe more health instead. Maybe we could get some armor affixes. You get the idea. Alright, so we're looking for the tap again. The water feature that points us towards the red portal. Also looking at that totem and thinking, that's a whole bunch of loot that I'm going to go and get. Okay, these Chthonian Vanguards, I really don't like them. Potential one-shot issues with them. Getting trapped in that corner, also something I don't really like. That's okay, we're going to kill all of them off. We're not looking at the loot. In fact, I'm going to turn it off just until everybody's dead so I don't run into stupid. See, now we've got a pretty nasty dot there. Okay, Signet of the Damned, pretty good. Wrath of Erelan, not so good. Crystallum, not for us. Bloodied Crystal is amazing. How's my Vitality resistance? I'm kind of tempted to just go and make a couple of these and put them on. So that would give us 150 armor, which is basically more than 10%. That's, what is that, like 12, 13% additional armor. And then that's modified by any items we have, for example, that have increased armor percentage on them. So I definitely do want to go do that. Runic Braces, good resistances on these, like amazing resistances on these. Decent amount of health on them. I might actually swap these in as well. The thing with these prismatic shield procs, because there's a pair of pants that has them as well, and I think there may be a legendary chest or something that has this proc. You don't want to rely on it. It's 100% chance when you're hit, but it's only up about 20% of the time. So if you're using these to cap your resistances, you're probably dead. Yeah, I think we just swap those in. The armor level on these is not amazing. It is slightly higher than my old gloves, but you're basically taking these as a massive pile of resistances. The other thing is, I don't need the Vitality and Bleeding, although maybe I will, and then I can swap out these Corpse Dusts, both of them, for Bleeding Crystals. Alright, Dager's Mantles, Poison Stuff. Signet of the Damned is actually a pretty good Vitality ring. Because this is mythical, this is something that I would probably hang on to. If I was planning on making, say, a Vitality caster of some sort in the future. I mean, I would never do that, but if I was planning on making one of those, that is something that I would hang on to. Alright, let's go burn through a whole bunch of Ugden Blooms, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to cost me to get those two components. Okay, we keep the item, and we keep the item. So we've just murdered all of our pets. Actually, hang on. You know what? Let's not pay for that. We'll have tons of those in the stash. Although, having said that, we're not exactly short on bits either. Alright, so Bloodied Crystal. Yes, it is Ogden Blooms. You can see why I said you want to save these up, because 2 components for my rings is already 16, so almost a quarter, more than a quarter actually, I think, of my supply. Hollow Fang and Silk Swatch. So, SIL, and we want to go Resilient Plating, 1, 2, 3, 4, Silk Swatch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do that again because maths is hard. 2 times 4, how does it work? And then Hollow Fang we want 8 of as well, so we can just go straight for that one. Alright. And then Bloodied Crystal times 2, 1 and 2. Chuck those on. Armor rating 1171 goes up to almost 1400. So pretty big increase there. Gloves, we definitely want to cap that vitality res, so I'm just going to put another, what are these called? Unholy Inscription. Just going to chuck that straight on. There we go. Let's finish that. Now the other thing I'm looking at is I've got 2 Silk Swatches here. Do I need both of them? And the answer is no, so I want another Scaled Hide. Do I already have one? I do not already have another Scaled Hide, so let's go and make one. At this point, like I said, I'm buffing up my defenses. And so I want to get my armor absorption up, and I want to get my armor up. So Bloody Crystals are adding a bunch of armor, and then we need the absorption to be able to use it. It is not correct to say that your armor absorption percentage is how much of your armor you can use, but it's kind of like if you squint and you're blind in one eye, it kind of looks like that. I won't go through armor mechanics here, but you can kind of just pretend that that's true and you'll be okay. Do I want to hang on to this? I'm probably never going to use it. Defensive ability, chance to avoid projectiles on the proc. None of that's really pet stuff, so we'll get rid of it. Same with all this stuff. This is definitely one that I would keep. Blue rings, or rings in general, are kind of hard to target and semi-rare because there are so many of them. Same for amulets. If you're looking for a specific ring, like maybe Spirit Binder rings, good luck. So if you do find one on another character, rings are a really good candidate for just hanging on to. Do I want to swap this over as well? I think not yet. We'll keep those. You can have that one though. And I probably should sell that ring. There we go. Right, so Scaled Hides, if you can, should go on your chest and legs. Because they give plus 35 armor, that applies only to the piece of armor they're on. And so you want it on the piece of armor that gets hit the most often, which is going to be your chest and then your legs for 46% chance between them. So I'm going to take that Silk Swatch off. I'm going to chuck that on there. And we are up to 98% armor absorption. So again, it's not quite perfect, but it's definitely better. This helmet absolutely needs to be replaced, and we are coming up on the point where we can do that. So let's go and kill some more stuff. And we're back to looking for... Well, let's get the boys out before I go getting myself killed. We're back to looking for the water tap. Just 1 second while I get the rest of the boys. Here we go. Alright, so we're heading more or less north, and... Oh, I was a little bit too far to the west. There's the portal I was looking for. Let's actually bring everybody back here so we can get it all clumped up and kill it on the way in. The more spread out your dudes are, your skellies, the more spread out their damage is going to be, which is fine, but the faster you kill stuff, the easier it's going to be to not die. Alright, this is the portal I was looking for. And here is the water tap that I was looking for. I'll go ahead and show it again. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this. But this little tap here, wall is here. This is your faucet. Water comes out here. This is the tap, so you twist this part to get water out. That's what I'm going with. Yes, I'm aware it looks like other things as well. No, we're not going to talk about them. Alright, so here is the rift I want. Let's head in. So we're on the left side here, and we want to get to... It's going to be, I think, just kind of here-ish. I definitely want to avoid Gabalthun, I think his name is, in here if I can. So we're going to go a little bit slowly. Make sure that's active. Alright, what do we got there? Howl of McGrogan, that's good. Pets go faster. There is the portal to the next rift. Now, I mentioned in one of my previous series that I would cover this when I got to it. If you let the cultists go, then you go down here, you kill Lunar Valgoth, which probably not a horrible idea. You kill Lunar Valgoth and you let the cultists go. Then, basically, when you get to Forgotten Gods, on the bottom floor of the Temple of Atef, instead of finding the... hang on a sec. Basically, they're going to go kill the Guardians, and there will be a demon there instead of the Guardians that you're looking for. Now, I want to farm the Guardians for Witch God Cult reputation, and so I'm not going to let them go. Apparently I was standing in something. But you can. If you want the MI from the demon for some reason, I can't remember what the MI actually does, I've never used it, but I know he has his own MI, so you have to, in some cases, let them go in order to get access to that item. We're not going to do that though, we don't need that MI, and I would rather have access to easy reputation farming for the Witch Gods. Alright, this is the guy we're here for, Bandragos and his two little buddies. It's probably not a horrible idea to go and park all your pets right next to them, and then they'll kill off his two friends. I'm standing in stupid because I'm busy waffling. His two friends are healers, they will heal each other, they will also heal him. So if you are just beating on the big guy and not getting anywhere, you'll need to go target his two friends. There we go. Okay, we're done here. That's what I came in here for. We've got it, we can leave now. This portal does eventually get you to the exit. Actually, we'll go out that way, because Lunar Valgoth is worth killing. I'm just going to not fight that. The exit is right here. There's no walls in the way for me to run into. So we'll just leave. This section, I have died in here, just from trash, by trying to skip it. So I'm not going to skip anything. I'm going to slowly inch my way up, and I'm going to kill everything. So we've got stuff over here. We're going to go kill it. Like I mentioned, have died in here in the past on a pet Cabalist. So just be careful of where you're running. And try to kill everything you can. There's no reason not to maybe take it a little bit slower. Aside from speed, I guess. The place I died is just around the corner here. So just over here, I was running past trying to farm Lunar Valgoth for a decent belt. Loot here, by the way. It's always fun finding the loot in the walls. Got a blue gun out of it, that's not too bad. Yes, so this section here, I tried to skip all of this. I got cornered, couldn't run, used my movement skills to get out, still wasn't out, and just got surrounded and killed. One of the major downfalls of summoners is while your pets are tanking, you're fine. You're grand. No big deal, you feel super tanky, and then all of a sudden you're dead because you're not actually tanky. You just haven't been getting hit because your minions have been tanking for you. So definitely be aware of that. You are not tank. You are squish. Alright, these guys. If you let these guys go, don't do that with this character because we don't need the MI from the demon that it'll spawn. And we do want to farm the other ones for reputation. Okay, what approaches? Lunar Valgoth approaches. We're going to go hide around the corner. Don't get sundered, don't get damaged, don't stand in the goop. Okay, this goop is still there, I don't want to stand in it. Okay, we have two different belts here. I've got the +1 to Necromancer belt, which is good. Unfortunately, no pet stuff on it. Stanching of Decay, and I don't need those resistances. So this is basically +1 to all Necro skills on a belt, which is less good than the Shadow Fiend's Cord. I'll probably farm a couple of these in between episodes, or I'll come back, not sure. But I may just run this belt all the way Having said that though, where's the belt? That one there. Look at the armor value difference. And remember that plus armor value gets added to all of your armor slots if it's on a non-armor slot item. And you don't have a belt slot for armor, so getting an additional, is that 22 extra armor, will just bump this number up by 22. So a little bit of reduced damage. Alright, we can talk to these guys. We can just say, hang on. Nope, you deserve to die. There we go, quest complete. Got some Black Legion reputation. A lot of it actually, although we don't need it at this point. And let's head out. So our next stop is going to be Dela. So when you come out, you'll come out at one of the 3 red portal locations-ish. And we can just head over this way. So blue dot, that's going to be Dela. If your Dela is not here, you'll need to go back to Homestead, collect her diary from the farm, and then turn it into her at Homestead. Then she will appear here.
I hope you're ready to write.
We want to drop a rift. And that's all we're going to do for now. We don't need to talk to her. None of that. We just drop a rift, and we'll be on our way. And I'm going back to skipping things again. Alright. I do want Aether Crystals, so we'll kill a few of these. Remembering to stay out of the goop as much as you can. The green fire definitely hurts, and you don't want to be standing on it. There we go, the pets have got the steroids at the moment. So we're just trying to get into the city at this point. One specific location we're trying to get into. That devotion shrine is fairly close to it. We don't need devotion shrines anymore. But that is kind of where we're heading-ish. And I'm going to be doing a lot of backpedaling through this section. These guys leave a lot of rubbish on the ground. I think this is my Aether Fire, but these guys definitely leave a lot of stuff on the ground, and I don't want to be standing in it. So I'm trying to move every second or so, and telling you that I'm doing that is not for your benefit, it's to remind me to do it. Alright, Aether Storm. Oh, frozen. The Aether Storm stuff just seems to be everywhere lately. I don't know if it's because I'm mentioning it that I keep noticing it, but there's a lot of Aether Storm stuff. See all this rubbish on the ground? They're just going to leave that behind all the time. Okay, let's actually go in here. So you want to get into the underground section here for another quest item. It doesn't matter which entrance you use. If you come in this way, you will have to fight Turnox. Not the end of the world. But you can avoid fighting Turnox if you take the other door and you get lucky with the spawns. If you take the other door, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of actually having to fight Turnox. If you take this door, it's 100%. Okay, Ethereal Vanguard Hated is kind of okay. Houndmasters of the Aether. So this is a higher level book. But let's be honest, we pretty much only want the skill points on this. That said, +7 is usually bigger than +6, and +4 is usually bigger than +3, and the numbers on this are just bigger. So neither of Decay nor of the Aether are actually useful to me, but that is better than my current one. So I don't have enough spirit for that. I could definitely get some more spirit by putting a few points into mastery bars, or by just waiting a few levels. Okay, so first place Turnox can spawn right here. This place is great for dynamite. You'll always get one, and then the scrap piles and the crates and all the rest of it. You usually will walk out of here with, I'd say on average, 2 to 3. Game once again making a liar out of me, I only got 1. But generally speaking, you'll get 2 to 3 out of this room, because there's guaranteed one, there's usually scrap, there's barrels down here. A lot of this stuff will have dynamite in it. The most I've ever got, I think, was 7. So you can get a lot, actually. Okay, this section here is the second spot for Turnox. Is it? I can't see it. Just here between these 2 pillars is the second spawn location for Turnox. This tells me that I definitely have Turnox in the next spawn location. Standing on the stairs is a good way to not get hit by all this rubbish on the floor. unfortunately we gotta move eventually. Okay, Turnox's next spot, right there. So, let's go ahead and fight Turnox. Push all of the buttons, run away a bit. And she's gonna follow me. Lovely. Mr. Blightfiend, could you please take care of that? Alright, there we go. Did not... Oh, I did get Krieg's Boots. How about that? First kill. So Krieg's Boots are not really amazing for us. Not horrible either. They have a ton of armor on them. So let's pick all that up. Let's just back off a bit because I want to waffle about this. Right, Krieg's Boots. They are definitely a physical and aether set. They are not a pet set. However, they do have good general stats on them, completely ignoring any of the other stuff. So, if you're using green boots at this point, it's possible that Kriegs might be decent for you. Level 94 to put them on, and they usually, yeah, you need a ton of physique for these items as well. We've been pumping physique for a while, so we should be able to wear these, aside from level, obviously. Almost certainly not going to use them. I will, however, be hanging on to them to just check. And then the Signet of the Fallen. This is one you definitely want to keep. The mythical Signet of the Fallen is basically best in slot ring for any Vitality build. Just all of them. There's pretty much no Vitality build I can think of where you wouldn't want to use this. Anytime you crit something, you shred their resistances by 10%, and you also do damage to them. Bunch of Vitality damage, flat and percent, so it's good for weapon damage builds, it's good for spell builds. Attack and casting speed, it's good for both again. One good resistance, some OA, it's basically everything you want. So Phantasmal Blades Reaper, great ring. Blood Pact, I think that was one of the Shaman totems from memory, I could be wrong there. But like Reaping Strike, so you're playing a Reaper, dual wielding, doing Vitality damage, +2 to Reaping Strikes, pretty good. Decomposition, again, more good stuff. Where is Decomposition? That's Destruction. I forget exactly where it is. But it's all Vitality stuff. This is a ring to keep. You will use this if you ever make a Vitality build. You absolutely will use this ring. Okay, that said, let's go grab what we're actually here for. So this little lectern here, we'll grab the letter, and then we want to head out this door. No matter which one you came in, you want to head out that door. We're heading towards the rift. The rift gate, sorry, we need to fight to clear it, and then we're going to use that to go back to see Dayla and finish all of her quests in one go. So let's just go through this way. Alright, mages, we want to kill every single one of them. As hard as we can, as fast as we can, as often as we can. We want to murder every mage in this city, because they drop these. And we need a new hat. So if you see a mage, go out of your way to kill it. If you want to just farm those hats at this point, what you can do, it's probably not the best idea, but you can do it, is... I'm going to clear the city before I do this, because there's a few extra places. But this building right here spawns a lot of mages. So you can just come here, kill them. Oh, didn't get a helmet? Alright, exit to menu, come back, kill them again, etc. Until you get a good helmet. It'll take a while, because there's only a few in there, and there are better places. But if you're going to do that, there's often mages on the stairs here. The yellow ones are ideally who you want to be killing. They have a better drop chance. Actually not sure if they can. I was really excited then I realized I'd still had the loot turned off and I heard the I heard the bong. Alright, so Skyfall and Ascendant source of the Arcane plays. Unfortunately mismatched prefixes. So no good. Let's go pick up our loot down here as well. But yeah, if you want to farm a new hat, this is a somewhat decent place to do it. We are, however, going to go and talk to Dayla. Now, you will get a guaranteed 100% legendary weapon out of this. It's always the same weapon. So let's go ahead and I found what you're looking for. Now what? Blah, blah, blah. I found his thrall. And thank you for the blade. So you will get Blazeheart here every single time. These are worth hanging on to because you only get one per character and only on ultimate. So this is not something you can farm. Definitely hang on to them. Although maybe you're not planning to make a character with that. You will. At some point you're going to. Alright, let's chuck a point in the Hellhound there and more health. So I definitely want more health, more than anything else really. And we have Impervious of Caged Souls or Ordered of Voidfire. Defensive ability for us is already huge. We are at the point where we have a 20% chance to not get hit, which is pretty good. We're decently over on both of these, so honestly I don't need the resistances anymore on these, but +4 to Undead Legion instead of +3 is pretty good. And +3 to Raised Skeletons instead of 0 is also pretty good. And the pet stats as well. Which one of these is going to be better? Yeah, honestly, it literally doesn't matter. Let's chuck that one on. It's going to ruin my resistances, but it's kind of whatever. Right, so we need now to head down here because I'm going to need to buy a new movement rune. Because I'm spamming the movement key and nothing's happening. Charging Bull. There we go. Let's use that instead of selling it. We'll put that on the new thing. And we don't need the Rift because we got the Rift Gate. Awesome.
Let's take a look, shall we?
Alright, we're going to melt my old one. Keep the add-on. Definitely worth having double Aether Souls if you can get them. We are going into a city filled with ethereals, so taking less damage from ethereals is definitely a good thing. The rest of our components are looking kind of okay. We could go and make ourselves a Mark of Mogdrogen instead of a Mark of the Traveler, but honestly, it's not a massive deal. Okay, definitely don't sell the Blazeheart weapon. This one is really good for just any fire build. If it happens to be a Necromancer or an Oathkeeper, great. If it happens to be a Demolitionist and then using Fire Strike, great. This is just a good stick, a stat stick for any fire build, because 240% fire damage, 350% burn damage, Vitality and Chaos converted to fire. It's all good stuff for a fire build. So even if you're not planning on making a build that will use that as its kind of last weapon, it's definitely worth keeping for any build that maybe just wants a little bit extra. See, we can sell that. A little bit extra fire damage. Pretty good for a Templar Skater, if you're going to be doing that, or a Shield Breaker as a Skater. Really good, I think, for a Shield Breaker. Nope. Yes, yeah, so you would get +1 to Oathkeeper as well. Good for both. Alright, chuck all this rubbish in the bank. I am going to hang on to the boots, but I don't need to keep them on me. Am I going to wear the Fate Weaver's Mantle? I kind of want to because double the armor. I did just get an item with +3 to raise skeleton, so I can afford to lose that. Resistances are under control. Let's just swap that in. I did just lose a bunch of vitality. So I can't. I wouldn't mind swapping that in, but not just yet. The Signet of the Fallen, like I said, definitely worth hanging on to. Avenger of Can is not horrible. Pretty good for max resistances. Max all resistances is just really, really good. And that one I need a little bit more spirit, which I can't quite get to there. That's fine. We'll put a couple more in spirit. I think I needed 17 or 18, but we can respec these later, so that's fine. Okay, that is going to be the end of this episode, so I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.